right now, at this very moment, there's a war being fought inside your body. It's a silent conflict between an enemy that's a master of disguise and a hidden army that, with a little scientific boost, might just be the ultimate weapon to win that war.
So let's start with a really powerful question. What if the most advanced, most effective cancer-fighting technology isn't some new drug cooked up in a lab, but something that's been evolving inside of us for millions of years? You know, that one question is completely changing how we think about this disease.
To really get this, we first need to meet the hero of our story, your immune system. And believe me, it does way more than just fight off the common cold. Think of it as a huge, brilliant army, on call 24/7.
Just try to wrap your head around that. Billions, with a B, of these microscopic soldiers are patrolling every single inch of your body as we speak. Their mission is simple and constant. Seek and destroy anything that shouldn't be there. That means viruses, bacteria, and yes, even rogue cancer cells.
Now, this army has two main branches. First, you've got your innate system. These are the frontline grunts, the first responders. Think of them like security guards with clubs. They swing first and ask questions later. They're fast, but not super precise. Then you have the adaptive system. These are your special forces, your snipers. These are the guided missiles with cells like T cells that learn to spot a specific enemy, remember its face, and launch a perfectly targeted attack.
And this brings us to a really cool idea: tumor immunosurveillance. I know, it's a mouthful, but the concept is pretty straightforward. It just means that your adaptive immune system, those special forces, are constantly on patrol, hunting down and taking out mutated cells long before they could ever grow into a real tumor. It's happening all the time, right under our noses.
So that begs the obvious question, right? If our immune system is so amazing, why do people get cancer at all? Well, it turns out the villain in this story is incredibly clever. Cancer didn't just survive, it evolved to play a deadly game of hide and seek with that internal army of ours.
So how does it pull this off? Well, it has a few nasty tricks. First, it puts on an invisibility cloak, hiding the very signals your T cells are looking for. Then, it can send out chemicals that basically tell nearby immune cells to just stand down, putting them to sleep. And if that's not enough, it can build a literal fortress around itself, a little bubble that shields it from any attack. This quote just nails the problem perfectly. It's not that our soldiers are weak or ineffective. It's that the enemy has become a master of espionage. It literally erases its own identity, making it almost impossible for our internal security system to even know there's a threat.
So, how do you catch a spy that leaves no fingerprints? You don't just send more guards. You give your guards a new set of eyes. And this is where science has come up with a total game changer: reprogramming our T cells to see the unseeable.
This whole field is called immunotherapy. The entire goal is just to rip off cancer's invisibility cloak and make it visible again. And probably the most exciting, most powerful tool we've developed to do this is something called CAR T-cell therapy.
The way this works is it's mind-blowing. First, doctors take a sample of your blood and collect your T cells. Then comes the real magic. In a lab, they use genetic engineering to give those cells a brand new receptor. It's called a CAR, that's specifically designed to lock onto your cancer cells. They grow millions of these new super soldiers and then they infuse them back into your body. They become a living, breathing medicine, programmed to hunt and kill.
And listen, this is not just a theory in a petri dish. This therapy saved a little girl named Emily Whitehead. She was the very first child to ever receive it, and her incredible recovery from leukemia was the watershed moment. It's what proved to the entire world that this wasn't science fiction. We could actually engineer our own cells to create a cure.
But science never sits still, does it? If CAR T therapy is like giving our cells a new piece of hardware, a new scope for their rifle, the next step is a full software upgrade. We're talking about rewriting the fundamental instruction manual of the immune cells themselves.
This is where CRISPR comes in, and you've probably heard of it. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like the find and replace feature in a word processor, but for our DNA. It gives scientists this unbelievable ability to go into a cell's genetic code, find a specific spot, and edit it, either cutting out a bad gene or writing in a new helpful one.
And that right there is the huge change in thinking. The old way was about creating outside chemicals to attack the cancer from the outside in. The new way? It's about becoming bioengineers and redesigning the defenders our bodies already have. We're not just giving them a new weapon anymore. We're upgrading their whole operating system. I mean, just imagine programming a T cell to be more aggressive, or to completely ignore those stand-down signals that cancer sends out. Or what about programming it to spot multiple targets at once? That's exactly where this is heading. We're learning that biology can be a programmable system, which means we can build a smarter, tougher immune army from the ground up.
Okay, I know this all sounds very futuristic, right? But the actual health of your own immune army, your baseline, is something you have a say in, right now. The choices you make every single day can either keep your defenders in top shape or leave them weak and unprepared for a fight. And we're talking about the absolute fundamentals here. The quality of your sleep, the food you put in your body, getting regular exercise, even getting some sunlight. This isn't just about wellness. Every single one of these things directly affects how well your immune cells can do their job.
So here's the key takeaway. You can't control your genetics, and you can't control luck. But you can make sure your army is well-rested, well-fed, and well-trained. A strong immune system is your best possible first line of defense, giving you the best shot at knocking out rogue cells before they ever become a real problem.
So, where is all of this going? What's the ultimate goal? The big vision here is a future where cancer treatment is no longer a one-size-fits-all sledgehammer. Instead, it becomes a personalized, precision-guided weapon built just for you.
The dream is to create therapies designed for one person and one person only, a treatment that's custom-built to recognize the unique genetic fingerprint of your specific tumor.
So, picture what that future could look like. A doctor could take a tiny sample of a tumor and sequence its entire DNA to find its unique weaknesses. Then, your own T cells would be engineered in a lab to hunt for those exact targets. And within a few days, you'd get your treatment, an infusion of your own supercharged cells, perfectly designed to wipe out your cancer.
And that gets to the huge difference in philosophy. Chemotherapy is like carpet bombing. Yeah, it destroys the enemy, but it causes a ton of collateral damage to all your healthy cells. Personalized immunotherapy, that's a surgical strike. It's designed to take out only the enemy, leaving all of your healthy tissue perfectly safe.
So, as we wrap this up, the most profound idea is this. For decades, we've been searching for some magic bullet from the outside world. But it's turning out that the real hero of this story might not be a new chemical or drug at all. It's the powerful, intelligent, and now programmable army that's been inside you all along. The only question left is, are we finally ready to unleash it?